Hello, hello, hi, folks. Welcome. Happy Wednesday in hopes that you squeezed more out of your day than the day squeezed out of you. I am Sean Azimi with SideGigSean.com, where I help you look, start, and grow your side business. Welcome. Good to see you. So today I was listening to an interview with Ray Higdon and John C. Maxwell. PK, what is happening? Jenny, how are you? Welcome. Hello. Hi, folks. So I was listening to an interview with Ray Higdon and John C. Maxwell. And Ray is having his Faith Over Fear seminar in September. Try to say that 5 times. Hi, Alhamjun. How are you? Welcome. Good to see you. So he's having his seminar in September, and he announced his keynote speaker, who happens to be John C. Maxwell. And if you don't know who John C. Maxwell is, he is recognized as the #1 person in personal development and leadership training, if you would. Andrea, how are you? Welcome. So he's written, today I found out, he's written 88 books. Think about that for a second, okay? Think about how many books you have read. He's written 88 books. He said he has spoken all around the world, all around the stages, 13,000 times. Oh my God. Imagine that. Imagine having spoken on stages 13,000 times on leadership. The reason why I tell you that is he's the man behind leadership. His name is John C. Maxwell. Oddly enough, I don't think I've shared this story. I'll just plug this in. Oddly enough, when the very first time I heard anything personal development at all, it was in a little office in Whittier, California, and I'm gonna drop a name here. Peter knows who this is, and Cliff Braun was there, and Daniel Song. You guys wouldn't know who they are, but those 2 guys were there, and they were sharing a personal development audio with the group. It was a training, and it was the first day. Actually, that was the day that I signed up with the last company. That's a whole other story. But the audio they were playing was by John C. Maxwell, the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. And I remember he said a couple things, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is like, what is this stuff? Like, I had not ever heard of personal development or anything like that. So it was like, Swahili to me. I was like, what the? And I was like in love. I was so in love with personal development. So the first guy that I ever heard was John C. Maxwell. So anyway, let me get to the story today. So he was doing an interview with Ray. Like I said, he's having his event. Ray is in September, and then John is going to be the keynote speaker. And they were talking about how important it is for leaders to rise up, especially like at times like this, really rough, tough times for a lot of people. And it's going to get worse. Like economically, it's going to get pretty bad. So he was talking about, the importance of the rise of the leaders, if you would. And he dropped a couple of things that you got to have these 2 in order to be a good leader, if you would. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is so, no wonder this guy is the man, right? Senya, how are you? Welcome. Good to see you. So two things you got to have in order to have a rise in leadership, right? And you got to have these two together. You can't have one or the other, right? And I'll explain to you why in a second. But first one is you got to have leadership skills, right? You got to have leadership skills. Like, for example, if you're going to be a chef, do you think you should know how to cook? I mean, probably, right? If you're going to be a mechanic, do you think you should know a couple things about fixing a car? You probably should, right? So leadership, you got to have some leadership skills. Good news is it's all over. I mean, it's all around you. You could learn it for free on YouTube, and there's so many seminars and classes and online stuff. So you got to get the skills. And the second one, and I love this one. You guys know I love this one once I tell you. He said, you got to have good values. Now, if you have been around to my lives for a while, you know that I like my MVPs, which are morals, values, and principles, right? So I like to plug that in here, if I may, instead of just values. But if you got leadership skills and you got good morals and values and principles that you can put on display and teach and lead with, imagine what you could do. Imagine what you could do. Now think about this for a second. Are you guys still there? Hello? Are you like awake? Throw some hearts or comments or anything. Sometimes I don't know if people are still there. Are you guys still there? Hello. So imagine if you are still there. Okay, I saw some hearts. So imagine if you have your values, right? You have your MVPs are all lined up. You're like, great. You got a great set of MVPs, right? And then let's say you can't lead anything. Let's say you got like zero leadership skills, right? Like you have zero social skills, zero leadership skills. Oh, good. Okay, so you're still there. Imagine if you have that. If you have all the values and the morals and the principles in the world, but you suck as a leader, like you can't lead. My mentor, I've heard this, the first time I heard this, Peter knows who this is again, is from Tom Ackyasen, but my mentor repeats this all the time. Leader of one, leader of many. If you can't lead one, you can't lead any. How good is that, right? Leader of one, leader of many. If you can't lead one, you can't lead any. So the point is, if you can't lead yourself, you ain't gonna be able to like lead anybody. I mean, you gotta be able to lead yourself, right? So imagine if you got all the values in the world and you suck at leadership, like you can't lead a dog or anything, right? You'd be a really good, valuable friend. You would be one of those people that people would love to be around because you just are such a good person, right? But you lack that leadership skill. Now imagine if you have the leadership skills, okay? You have all the skills in the world. Like you are sharp, you can lead, no problem. You take action, you take charge immediately. And let's say you got sucky MVPs, like your values suck. Would you want that person to lead? Those are the people that manipulate others, or they just do really bad for the world, right? So you can't have one and not the other one. It just wouldn't make sense. But imagine if you got them both, right? You got the skills and you got the values, the MVPs. Now, here's the cool thing. Yeah, no thanks. Here's a cool thing. Both of them, you can reevaluate. You can learn, you can upgrade, you can improve. You can improve your skills, right or right? I mean, you can learn a couple of things from a couple of different books. You can listen to podcasts, YouTube channels. I mean, you can take seminar. I mean, you can, right? You can sharpen that axe all day, every day, right? Now, with the values and morals and principles, your MVPs, you just adjust and reevaluate. You see what really works for you, what lines up, and what does not. And if something doesn't match with what you got, then you kick it out, right? So you can always adjust both of them and upgrade, right? Which is the really cool thing. So I thought that was just beautiful from the man himself, John C. Maxwell. And I mean, he's got 88 books out there, but the one book what was the book he recommended? He said if I wanted to recommend one book would be, oh man, how to something, the leader within 2.0. I have the first version. I can't see it in my library. But yeah, so that's the book he recommended. But he's got a ton of books, 88 books. The one that I listened to first was the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. So with that, hopefully you guys got some love, some inspiration, some value from this. I appreciate you guys. Drop your thoughts, your comments, your feedback below. Let me know if you actually have heard of John C. Maxwell, or have you read any of his books, or what do you even think about him, or anything like that. Or if any of you are going to the September event with Ray Higdon, let me know in the comments. A bunch of you have sent me chats to see if I'm going and what's going on over there and whatnot. So if you are, let me know in the comments, and that would be amazing. Yes, he is amazing. He's pretty cool. So yeah, with that, I am Sean. Hey, if you feel like this was worthy of sharing, you got to do what you got to do. Spread the love. Tag a couple people, And with that, I am Sean Azimi with SideGigSean.com, where I help you look, start, and grow your side business. Signing off until tomorrow when we do it all over again. Much love.